Up, Rally Tau fam? Good evening. Welcome to the show. Football is back, baby. We'll be talking NFL training camp, answering all of your questions, and much more. Let's get it. Mr. James, hello, welcome.
Mr.
Good
Lehman,
evening.
what's
How are
going
you, sir?
on, Roberto? I'm doing all right, man. I'm doing all right. I'm LIVIN, like you said. Training camp is in. Rookies reported today for a lot of teams.
Yep.
Veterans report tomorrow for a lot of teams. Except for I think the Steelers are kind of they're like another week away from even starting training camp, if I'm not mistaken. So I think the 26th or something like that. So
They've been busy signing people.
yeah. So they got they got another week, but yeah, training camp's getting going. Football's right around the corner. We're about a month, what it would shoot about a 2 months away from the regular season starting. So
Yeah, we're getting there. Rally Tau fam, apologize for the last couple of weeks. We've kind of went on a hiatus there for a minute. We've all had some things going on. Rob, what's up, man? Thanks for liking the video. Just to kind of give you guys an update, I've had a lot going on at work. I got some new roles and responsibilities that I'm taking over, so it's kind of been bogging me down. But that's all coming to summation now, so we're pretty much good. Corey, what's been going on in your world, man? You went on vacation and
yeah, I just been running around like crazy and just reeling it in, focused on a couple of things just here and just kind of taking it easy. And it's just been we're in the doldrums of sports too, so
yes.
I'm not going to just get out here and just fucking half-ass it and just to send it in to you. If we're gonna go live, we're gonna do a show. So that
we're gonna make sure we got something to talk about. I mean, you can make shit up to talk about, but we want to make sure that it's actually decent content, not just what everybody else is making up and trying to make a story from. So, but no, this is exciting. I've been getting questions about fantasy football, and it's kind of getting that little itch back. Like, man, we're almost there. And I'm excited.
Absolutely. So how many leagues are you doing this year?
I think I will be in 2.
How many were you in last year? Is that a difference?
One. I scaled back last year and only did 1.
Okay.
It was like 2 years ago I was in 3 and I was like, fuck, man, I don't want to. Like 3 is a lot.
It is.
I dialed it back to 2, then I went to 1, and then I was like 1. I don't know. I want a little more action than that. I think 2 is good.
Yeah, so I was in 3 last year as well. And I'm actually getting out of my longest standing league this year. Yeah. I started throwing a lot of cash at fantasy, and that's a lot. And
I mean, we could always get a Rally Tau league going.
You know what? That's always an option for sure down the road. Absolutely. But the league wasn't fun. And Aaron's in that league, which is why he's jumping in the chat right now calling me a coward. The league just wasn't as fun for me. And I'm the commissioner of the of my dynasty league. Okay. So that takes a lot of time. I wanted, like I said, I'm not going to half-ass it, not going to just send it in. Okay.
For sure.
And especially not a commissioner. So I gotta be on top of my game. Again, it's a dynasty league, so I'm a little fucked right now in my dynasty league. What's up, Toddy? Jumping in the chat.
What's got you in a bad position?
My quarterback. So it's as a league, we have set this up to mimic the NFL as much as possible, in that quarterbacks are extremely heavily weighted.
Okay.
So having a quarterback is vital. A good quarterback is vital. So my quarterbacks were Kyler Murray, Tua Tagovailoa, and Trey Lance last year.
Yikes.
So normally Kyler, great fantasy quarterback. Tua, when he was healthy, great fantasy quarterback. Trey Lance, I took him in like the second round of his rookie year. That was our first draft.
Yeah.
And I was just like, all right, this is going to be cool. Like, I'll just set him on the bench and like he's going to pan out. Like, it's going to be fun. San Fran offense, this is going to be sweet. And it just didn't happen that way. So had to make a trade for Kyler. His knee exploded. So that was cool. Yeah, that was dope. And I have we do a three round draft, only rookies. We have a taxi squad where you can put your rookies on the taxi squad. Once you bring them up to the active roster, they're on the active roster only. You can't kick them back to the taxi squad. Okay. And I don't have a first or second round pick currently. So
dang, you don't.
Good news. So the good news, right? The good news is that the rookie draft typically only yields about 1 or 2 starters per team, right? Yeah. You're not your third round draft pick. You're probably not going to play. You're going to end up cutting this guy unless you get lucky and it pops off. I can give you some. I'm okay though at wide receiver. I've got Devonta Smith. I've got T. Higgins. I've got Juju, who's now I believe the number 1 receiver on New England. My other wide receivers who we got in here. I'm sorry. Jahan Dotson. Got his
Super Bowl and ran.
Jahan Dotson, Drake London.
Okay.
Those are my wide receivers. So they're all a lot of number 1s other than Devontae on my roster. And T. Higgins. T. Higgins, a 1.5 more than a 2.
Sure.
Thought I was really good at running back, but one of my running backs is Ezekiel Elliott. Good news is my other running backs are Travis Etienne. We've got Khalil Herbert, Breece Hall, and Aaron Jones.
Okay.
So we've got some solid stuff to build around. It's the quarterback. Now, can Tua stay healthy? If Tua can stay healthy, he's a great fantasy quarterback, especially in this league, where to be successful, you need a quarterback that's close to 50 points a week in this league. Again, quarterbacks are inflated because they're the important position. We wanted to weight it that way in this league, again, to mimic that as close to the NFL as possible. So just got some question marks whether or not I want to trade up in that draft or, take some of that capital I've got in the running back or wide receiver room and move that into trying to invest in the quarterback for the long term. Do I try and go get an Anthony Richardson? Is that somebody that you like in this fantasy year? Or, you lean in more towards like of the rookie quarterbacks, which one of those do you think is like the fantasy guy? There's always one.
Yeah. I mean, it's always one, and I think it's a toss-up this year. I think Richardson has the best ability to be successful. He's got the most potential because of what he not only I think he is he the most skilled, but I think he's got a lot of pieces around him that he can do something with it.
Sure.
Especially that young receiving core there in Indy. They did just roll out those sweet new uniforms. I don't know if you got a chance to look at those.
You like those?
I thought they were sick.
It just reminded me of Duke, and I almost threw up.
Well, royal blue is like my favorite color, like because I'm not like I don't have any allegiances in college sports, so that doesn't color my opinion in any way, shape, or form. It's just my favorite color.
Is that a pun, Bobby?
Yes, it is.
Very well done.
But no, I mean I think I'm excited to see what he can do. I think he's it's a relatively weak division. I think Tennessee they haven't done really anything to get better. Jacksonville.
They got DeAndre Hopkins. Yeah, exactly. I'm so glad that is your reaction as well. A shrug of the shoulders for those listening on Spotify. If you guys haven't fucking followed us on Spotify yet, please, Jesus, what the fuck are you doing?
Yes. But yeah, I mean, adding DeAndre Hopkins that's like I don't know. I'm trying to think. That's like adding extra salt to
AJ Green 3 years
popcorn. Like. Yeah, like who gives a shit? Like
it's a 31-year-old receiver. It doesn't make my penis move at all.
Well, it's not only that, but he's got Ryan Tannehill throwing to him. What the hell is he going to do with that? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think Hopkins still has some in the tank, but he needs somebody good. And Tannehill's not the guy.
Does he have something in the tank? Yes, absolutely. Here's the thing about wide receivers, though. Wide receivers statistically regress after the age of 30. It's a statistical fact. You look at every wide receiver's production, and they get worse after the age of 30. But Corey, what about Larry Fitzgerald? What about Randy Moss? What about Terrell Owens? You just named 3 of the 5 greatest wide receivers to ever play football. So stop.
It's got a
Yes,
great
there
point.
are statistical anomalies, but everybody else outside of that, after 30, they get worse. It's just the way it works, man. It's a hard position to be good at for a decade and a half. It's very hard.
You have to think that like the defensive back position has only gotten much better, like across the board. Like there's so like to be an elite receiver in today's game, you not only have to be extremely fast, but you have to be an incredible route runner, and your knees have to be durable.
Yeah,
like putting all that pressure and making those cuts and those quick stops and starts wears down the body. Like you got to change the brakes on your car. You got to do this and that. We're humans. We can't just change out our knees. Like there's going to be wear and tear. And that's why you see a lot of these guys degrade because they can't move like they used to, or they're going to hurt themselves. Like it just is what it is. So yeah, him going to Tennessee, I don't like it. I think Jacksonville takes that division this year. I don't see any world where they don't.
Until there's a radical change or CJ Stroud, has a coming of age party, whether it be at the end of this year or the beginning of next or something like that. Until that happens, there are no signs to me that anybody but Jacksonville is going to win that division. For at least the next 2 years, I think it runs through Jacksonville.
You think Tennessee gets in the playoffs, Aaron?
So Aaron coming in with a comment saying D-Hop will be exciting for the Titans fans, but he's not helping them pass the wild card round. So I think what he's saying is like the ceiling for Tennessee this year is
the wild card.
The wild card round, and I think that
I don't disagree with that.
I think that's a fair statement. Yeah, I think the best that they can do is make the playoffs. I think if you're a Titans fan, your goal is make the playoffs.
What up, Brian?
And I think that's pretty much it. Which is such a far, like just 2 years ago, they were in the number 1 overall seed, Bobby.
No,
in the AFC.
I completely understand that.
Isn't that crazy though, huh?
You had a much younger Derrick Henry at that point in time. 2 years on a running back, especially at that capacity is
sure. I think that there's a lot more than that too. I think it's Derrick Henry has something to do with it. He's going to continue to come down in terms of production. I think that makes a lot of sense in the same way that a wide receiver does, right? But I also think that Tennessee's offense is pretty one-trickish, one-trick pony, if you will, in that it's Derrick Henry. We're going to feed Derrick Henry, and what is that going to do? That's going to open up.
That's what I was saying.
Well, what I'm getting to though is we're going to open up opportunities for at the time AJ Brown and Corey Davis. Well, guess what?
Right.
Neither of those guys are on that team anymore. If you're telling me your best wide receiving option outside of a 31-year-old DeAndre Hopkins is, Treylon Burks, I believe is the wide receiver they got.
I'm not sure.
That's not doing a lot for me in terms of passing game. And if you look at what the running back market has proven and shown us over the last couple of weeks, whether it be Ezekiel Elliott not being on a team or Leonard Fournette not being on a team or Tony Pollard not getting a long-term deal with the Cowboys or Saquon Barkley, of course, the poster child Saquon Barkley not getting a long-term deal with the Giants, potentially even sitting out long-term. Josh Jacobs, one of the best running backs in the league last year, not getting a long-term deal with the Las Vegas Raiders. The running back market continues to show us that football in general, offensively, it's not about the run game anymore at all. In fact, the run game is merely a hors d'oeuvre to set up the passing game. It is a tool used to enhance the ability to throw the ball, and that's it.
Can we sidebar here real quick?
Please, yes.
Where do you stand on the running back situation that you just described? Are you with the teams not signing these guys, or are you on the side of the running backs, or is it case by case?
I mean, to be honest with you, like I am on the side of making the best choice for the team. Like I don't think the NFL, at the end of the day, the NFL is a business and it doesn't owe players anything beyond what their contracts are. Like, Saquon's done so much for that team. Great. Look at the Saints. Look at the Cowboys. Look at what these massive contracts have done to these teams. They've handicapped them. They've handcuffed them in order that to where they're not successful. Shit, the Carolina Panthers, they did it with CMC to the point where their whole entire team around, well, they also had Cam Newton, but the whole entire team around them just shriveled to the point to where they had to get rid of that asset just to get pieces to move into the position that they're in now, which is in a massive rebuild. So I don't like in terms of like, am I on the side of the running backs? Well, no, it's a business and they're making a wise business decision. I wouldn't want the Bengals to do that with Joe Mixon. In fact, they did the opposite, right? They said, Joe, if you want to stay here long term, like we got your contract for this year, but if you want to stay here more than this year, you need to take a pay cut. And he did. And now he's here for the next 2 years as a Bengal. So, you know, with incentives that he can earn more based on performance, which I just think that makes the most sense. And, you know, Joe Mixon, I think, is a guy that's, you know, he's made a good amount of money in his career so far. Not a ton, but a good amount of money. He got his second contract. And now I think what he really wants to do is he's kind of being smart about it, which you don't get to say about Joe Mixon very often, but he's being smart here. He's taking the deal. He's going to continue to be able to play and bet on himself. He looks like an easy guy for a front office to bring in, which gets him a third contract. And that's the big thing, right? Is continuing to get those contracts, whether it's a 2 or 3 year deal after it, probably not with the Bengals, but you get what I'm saying is like it'd be advantageous for Saquon to just be like, I understand where we're at in this market. You know, I'll show up and I'll play and do it. But at the same time, I get his perspective of not risking it at that point.
So here is what I would do. If I'm an owner and I want somebody like Saquon, I would look him dead in the face and tell him we can't give you what you want, at least from us. But what we can do is we can get with our marketing department and get you brand deals. Get you income from a different revenue source. That's going to get you the money that you want and still help our salary cap. That's what I would do, because the running back market, like you said, you can't invest big money into these guys, and it makes complete sense. But I also understand these guys want to get paid, and the fact that Saquon Barkley is not even in the top 10 of running back pay in the NFL is a travesty. Because he's better than most of them.
You're 100% right, and here's the even scarier part: he's seeing what they just paid Daniel Jones in $45 million a year.
Exactly,
and that is the insane part.
Daniel Jones should be making what Saquon is being told that he's going to make. And
I agree. You can, and this is kind of the anomaly or the outlier, not the anomaly, the outlier rather, in this whole dynamic of running back pay are the New York Giants, in that you can replace the production that Daniel Jones gives you pretty easily, actually, I think, in this league.
Yeah, I agree.
That's not the same for Saquon. I think you can say that about a lot of these running backs that aren't getting signed, though. Like, I think you could replace the production, maybe not exactly what he brought to the table last year, of Josh Jacobs long term. Yeah, I think you can replicate that with somebody else, either through the draft or whatever. Ezekiel Elliott, yes, absolutely you can replace that. Leonard Fournette, yes, absolutely you can replace that. Dalvin Cook, they're doing it in Minnesota. They did it quite often when he was hurt in Minnesota. So
I think you bring up a good point there. Like, maybe not necessarily like the point, but like Zeke. Like, Zeke was a guy that got paid.
Yeah.
And you saw how that worked out for Dallas. It didn't.
Right.
And they ended up having to put Zeke on the field when Tony Pollard was clearly the better back. Mm-hmm. Couple comments thrown in here, though. Aaron with a really interesting one. Say you're a college kid at a Power 5 who could make it to the NFL.
Okay.
Would you rather be the third string corner defense,
third string corner,
or the starting running back?
So I guess a couple of caveats with that for me to answer it fully. Am I a senior or am I a freshman, sophomore?
Let's say you're a sophomore going into your junior year.
Okay, I'm going into my junior year. I'm third on the depth chart as a corner, or I am the starting running back. To be honest with you, the way I'm taking the corner. I'm going to be the corner. And the reason for that is not necessarily just the fact that it's the corners get paid more. That's part of it. But the third string corner gets a lot of snaps, guys. Like they're like most nickel sets are running out with 3 corners, right? I think that's just what's happening. And people are starting to run nickels out on second down a lot, and you're getting more DBs on the field. People are spreading it out. That's just the way the game has changed, to where you're getting more DBs on the field, less guys in that linebacking spot. Maybe you're only getting 3 rushers at sometimes, depending on the situation, depending on who you're playing. Not going to be doing that against Navy, but Alabama, yeah, you bet your ass you're going to be running out there with an extra DB. So yeah, I think if I'm at a Power 5 and I'm going into my junior year, I'd rather be a third string corner for sure. But almost maybe even if it's my senior year, I don't know, man.
Yeah, that's a tough one, man. I think I would still rather be the running back. Like I would rather have. I think I can have more of an impact on the field as a running back than I could as a corner. Because you're going to be on the field for pretty much every snap at a Power 5.
Let's look at the 2 running backs that were drafted this year in the first round. You have Bijan Robinson going to the Atlanta Falcons, and then you have Jahmyr Gibbs going to Detroit. Those are the 2 best running backs in the draft. I think everybody was pretty much on board with that, right?
I don't think there's any argument over here.
Let's look at the best running back that was drafted last year, Kenneth Walker III. Let's look at who are some of the other really good running backs that were drafted last year. Pierce with Houston out of University of Florida.
Breece Hall.
Breece Hall, really good. Got hurt. Which of those guys is going to get paid?
None of them.
Not a one. Not a one. So, and Aaron, with your hypothetical scenario there, I'm assuming I can't transfer, because let's say I'm playing at I'm a third string corner at Ole Miss. I mean, what's to say I can't transfer to Houston and get some great playing time for my senior year at Houston? You know what I mean? Or what's to say I can't, apply that anywhere else?
To the SEC, right? Go transfer to Kentucky.
Well, Utah State. Ole Miss is in the SEC, but transfer to some other school, a Wake Forest or a Vanderbilt or something like that, to where, I was a D1 top tier recruit, but now I'm going to go to a school where I'm going to get more time to showcase my talents. I'm assuming I can't do that in your hypothetical, but. I think, yeah. I mean,
in this world, you're allowed. We take a lot of liberties here.
You know who is going to get paid? Sauce Gardner, Patrick Surtain. Those guys are going to get fucking paid, big time.
Yeah, they're quality. Another comment coming in here: running backs maybe less of an overall factor. However, some like Barkley are multifaceted players and excellent receivers. Talented runners are key for all skilled positions. Side note, Mixon is a virus like Dylan in his final year. Thoughts on that?
So let's see. Like Saquon, multifaceted, excellent. Yeah, I agree. I think Saquon brings a lot to the table. I think that he is somebody that, allows that offense to be able to do a lot of different things that they normally wouldn't be able to do if he wasn't on the field. 100% agree.
For sure.
That said, I think the Giants are being smart as an organization and recognize the pitfalls of other organizations, one of which was in their own division, Dallas. When you linchpin yourself or shackle yourselves to the success of a running back with a huge contract, it buries you. It does. Buries you. Absolutely. There are 2 things I'm not in favor of doing in free agency either: signing a running back to a big term contract or signing a wide receiver to a big term contract. Why? That production is replaceable through the draft. It is. It's just been proven time and time again. You can replace that production through the draft. Side note, Mixon is a virus like Dylan in his final year. I completely disagree. I think every single person in that locker room will fight for Joe Mixon on the field, and that's really what matters. I think at the end of the day, that locker room is like a vice grip. They're very, very tight. And I don't think Joe Mixon and the alleged things that happened this offseason, and I've been on here and said, where there's smoke, there's fire. I'm not saying Joe Mixon is a completely he's not going to be closest to the throne up there in heaven at the end of it all. But I think I don't think that Joe Mixon and Corey Dillon are the same in that nature, in that Corey Dillon was adamant about trying to be traded. He didn't want to be in Cincinnati. He made a scene about it. This guy threw his equipment into the stands after his last game in Cincinnati. He was very vocal about not wanting to be a part of this organization. And Joe Mixon is quite the opposite in that he has taken a pay cut so that he can be a part of this organization. Now they're at different places, right? The Bengals are in a much different place right now than they were at the end of Corey Dillon's contract, right? They're very, very different. Corey Dillon's the greatest running back that's ever played for the Cincinnati Bengals. That, no question. It's not even close.
Yeah, I agree.
I mean, to me, this guy, I think he should be in the Hall of Fame, personally. But he was a self-motivated person. Can't blame him for that. Go get your money. Be about you. Go get your championship. All of that. I understand that. But, I think that the way that resonated with the city, with the fans, everything, there's still a little bit of a bitter taste in people's mouths with Corey Dillon. Fuck that guy, I think is something that probably commonly gets thrown around when you bring up Corey Dillon sometimes. But I loved him, man. Number 28. Yeah. He was a beast. Absolute beast.
All right. Aaron coming with another comment here. Dovetailing off of his previous comment. Saying you can transfer. I guess my question is, why would anybody 10 and up volunteer to play running back?
Yeah, and I think it's kind of, once you get to the point where a quarterback can throw the ball, I think the running back's probably getting phased out in a lot of offenses, in a lot of youth football offenses, right? In that once you can start spreading it out and throwing it, the running back kind of becomes a glorified pass blocker and outlet for a quarterback,
right?
Versus or as you need to be able to run the football. I don't want to get on a soapbox here and saying that running the football isn't important, because it's very important. You have to be able to effectively get 3 yards in a cloud of dust in the NFL. You have to. If you can't, then they're not going to respect you in that regard. They're going to drop, fucking 8 and rush 3 all day. And they're going to get timing sacks and that coverage sacks, rather. That's what they're going to do. So you have to be able to run the football. You need a back that has vision, power, and durability and good, ball control in order to do those things. But you don't need Marshall Faulk. You don't need Terrell Davis. You don't need Emmitt Smith. You don't need, the list goes on, all these 90s running backs that we grew, Eddie George. You don't need these guys anymore. That's not the type of game that we're playing any longer. So Aaron, yeah, absolutely. I don't think anybody's going to be running. The only person that's going to be a running back is the most athletic kid on the team when in Pee Wee football, because here's the offensive game plan: hand it to Timmy and just let Timmy run. Like Eric Shaw.
Oh my God. Yeah.
Easily the most athletic kid on our Pee Wee football team, bar none. 91 pitch and 98 pitch. It was a home run every time. It was literally a pitch play to the left or to the right.
Right.
Touchdown every fucking time, because he was just so fast. Fucking fast, dude.
He's so fast.
He ran like a goddamn deer. Insane.
Absolutely. Another comment rolling in from Charlie here. Took a pay cut because the Bengals were the best chance to be on the winning team. Virus was the wrong term. He doesn't provide the necessary energy to be productive. Bengals should have kept Perine instead.
I mean, Joe Mixon's better than Samaje Perine.
I don't know if I completely agree with that, though. I think there's
is Zach Taylor that inept?
No, I don't think he's that inept, but I think Perine was the better fit because he had better hands. and he worked well in the passing game.
Listen, I can understand why you would say that. Joe Mixon's a better receiver than Samaje Perine. The reason Samaje Perine's a third down back is because he's a better pass blocker. Joe Mixon has to get better at pass blocking. He's not good at it. He's a liability at pass blocking. But I wholeheartedly think Joe Mixon is the better receiving back. The reason, that's the reason they kept him. They kept him because he's better. He would, like, Samaje Perine would have been so much cheaper long term if he was really that good. I think they feel that they can replace Samaje Perine's production with Williams. I think that they feel that they can replace him with Williams or Chase Brown, this guy that they just drafted out of Illinois. I think that they feel that the production that Samaje brought, which, don't get me wrong, when Mixon was hurt, Samaje had, I mean, what, do you have like a 3-touchdown game or something like that last season? I can't off the top of my head. And I don't want to talk down on him because I love Samaje, and I he was always that guy that you feel like, that 3 yards in a cloud of dust, right? You could count on him for it. I do feel like Joe Mixon kind of gets slept on a bit. Because I
don't get me wrong, I think Joe Mixon is a talented back.
I think he's a top 10 running back in the league. I think and he has been since for a while now. I think Joe Mixon's been a top 10 running back in the league for a while.
I'm gonna look up his production. I don't know if I necessarily agree with that comment. I think.
Well, no. Don't look it up. I want you to name me running backs that are. I want 10 running backs that are better than Joe Mixon.
10 running backs.
So we got Saquon. I'm in on that. I'll give you Jacobs. I think Jacobs is better. Obviously, CMC is better, right? He's the best running back in the league, no question.
Okay.
What about Derrick Henry? Are you in on Derrick Henry is better than Joe Mixon right now?
Going into this year, last year, yes.
The fact that we're even thinking about it, right? That's something. I'll give you Derrick Henry. What about Aaron Jones?
Yes.
Okay, Aaron Jones is 5 running backs.
Jonathan Taylor,
I'm in. Jonathan Taylor.
Did we say Josh Jacobs already?
Yes. Said Josh Jacobs. Nick Chubb. Oh, Nick Chubb. Aaron, so sorry. Aaron, I'm so sorry.
Dalvin Cook.
I already said him.
You already said Dalvin Cook. Let's see. Who am I missing out there on the West Coast?
I think this is where he comes in, Bobby. I think this is about where Mixon lands, is my point.
I'll give you that.
Top 10, top 5, no, I'm not there. Not at all. Okay. Can he have top 5 performances? Sure. Can he have top 20 performances? Absolutely. But he doesn't fumble the football. Yeah, he misses a couple of games. What running back doesn't? He goes. My biggest issue.
I'm sorry, I forgot Najee Harris. Above.
I don't think I'm ready to say Najee is better than Joe Mixon. Could he be? Absolutely. He's in year 3 only. This is only going to be his 3rd year. Absolutely. Najee took a dip last year. I think he had a little bit of a sophomore slump. That's not to say he won't bounce back. You say
Bijan better aligned this year.
Aaron coming in with a ridiculous comment right now. Bijan over Mixon. I mean, yeah, they have the same amount of rushing yards this season so far, Aaron. So
Jahmyr Gibbs?
Yeah, Jahmyr Gibbs. Yeah.
Right,
could that happen, Aaron? Absolutely. Would I be shocked? No, not at all, especially not in that Atlanta offense. But again, my only issue with Mixon, my big issue rather, not my only one. There's a lot that don't take place on the field that I take issue with. But my biggest issue with Joe Mixon is he's very easy to tackle. He doesn't break a lot of tackles. He falls forward a lot and he protects the ball, which is great, but he's very easy to bring down.
Oh my God. I'm missing a lot of people here.
Which I don't love.
So granted, he was hurt last year, but Joe Mixon was 27th in rushing production last year.
Sure. On an offense that throws the ball 45 times a game.
Receiving production. Is he even on this list?
So
just pulling up receivers. I apologize.
If you can name 3 other running backs that were on, that
Travis
you'd rather
Etienne,
than
Jamal
Joe Mixon?
Williams.
I think they're the same person. Jamal Williams is not better than Joe Mixon. He's not. Jamal.
I'm looking at stats last year for rushing.
Yeah, I agree. If we watch the games of Jamal Williams, he had a great year. I think about 70% of his touchdowns were scored within the 5.
A healthy Tony Pollard over Joe Mixon as well.
That's fair. I can endorse that. At this point,
his top 10 is arguable.
Yes, absolutely.
I'll give you that.
That's all my point. That's all my point. So I think Joe Mixon gets slept on a little bit in what he does bring to the team on the field, and that he's pretty good.
I've drafted Joe Mixon on my fantasy team. Like
a lot. I have too. A lot.
I get it. Like I am a Joe Mixon fan. I think Joe Mixon is highly slept on.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, is he top 10? It's arguable. That was my only point.
Yeah, and the fact that you're debating it, I think is like I think the Bengals are, like, if I'm the Bengals front office looking at that from like a GM perspective and a money perspective, if I just got an arguable top 10 running back to take a pay cut to stay on my team, that's a good thing.
Oh, for sure. Look, I'm
okay, cool.
What happened? There's 3 things that I saw that are a huge benefit. One, obviously, he took a pay cut, which that's a win for everybody except for Joe Mixon. But 2, it shows that his head's in the right place. He wants to be there. He wants to win. He wants to play football games. He wants to be a part of this culture.
I think Charlie made the perfect point. He wants to be on a winning team.
Yeah. Who doesn't? Who? You tell me right now what running back in the NFL said, hey, you know what? If you could go play for Cincinnati right now, would you go? Every running back would say yes.
I think a lot of them would, yeah, for sure.
In a fantasy land where this was possible, I think a lot of people would say, if you only had one place to go to Cincinnati, would you be mad? No.
Yeah, I think Clyde Edwards-Helaire says no. I think
maybe
all 19 running backs that the Eagles have, I think they say no. But other than that, I think you're right there.
I think most running backs in the league would not mind going and playing in Cincinnati, which is a very strange thing to say.
It's weird, right?
Absolutely. So Aaron said, who's going to go first in the fantasy draft? Well, we need to figure out how many people are playing.
Let's say 12-man PPR league.
12-man PPR league. All right. Well, we gotta find eight more souls.
No, he's just saying who would go first. Who's the 1-1?
Oh, who's the number 1? Well, I guess. Well, I know in my brother's league, which is a.
Did you already draft?
League. No, we haven't drafted yet.
Oh, I
just know Jalen Hurts is going to go number 1 because quarterbacks are so heavily weighted.
That's right. And you're in isn't it a super flex 2 quarterback league or some stupid shit?
It is a 2 super flex league.
2
so you can start. You can start 3 quarterbacks.
That's insane.
It's wild. I thoroughly struggle in this league. So it's usually $20 down the drain for me every year. But we're gonna see if we can turn it around. But if I'm drafting first this year, 12-man PPR league, typically running backs go off the board first.
Agreed.
So, I'm probably yikes. I'd probably go McCaffrey.
Okay. And if I'm 2, I'm taking Jay Jets right after you.
Yeah.
Those are the only 2 acceptable options, in my opinion, is Justin Jefferson and Christian McCaffrey. Those are the only 2 acceptable options. In my opinion, I might take Justin Jefferson 1-1. I honestly might take Justin Jefferson 1-1.
Yeah,
Thielen's gone.
He's very clearly the most talented receiver in the league.
They just had a rookie that got cited last night for driving 140 miles an hour in a 55. He ain't playing the first few weeks.
No, absolutely not. No. Oh, okay. I see what Aaron's saying here. He says, no, I'm saying Bijan will get dragged ahead of Mixon.
Drafted ahead
of Mixon.
Maybe. Yeah.
Yeah. I don't. You got people taking flyers.
I've seen Mixon mocked pretty decently, like a RB5 this year in fantasy, based on, again, obviously Bengals continue to improve the offensive line. Should
Did
be,
you
you know,
hear
if he can stay healthy.
the Justin? Did you see Justin Jefferson's top 5 quarterback rankings and and how Kirk Cousins responded to it? Did you read
What
that
is
article?
what were first of all, what was his top 5?
Not in any particular order.
Sure.
Mahomes,
Mahomes.
Allen, Burrow, Jalen Hurts, and Aaron Rodgers.
Okay. I have no problem with that list.
And Kirk Cousins was like, "Yeah, I mean, you got to respect the list. I just hope to be on it next year," is what he said. And I was
What
like,
a cuck, bro.
There's
What
no
a
world,
cuck.
there's no world where Kirk Cousins cracks top 5.
No, but also the reporter who asked him that is a dick.
Yes, that is a huge asshole move.
Because you know Mahomes is going to be there naturally, right? It's Patrick Mahomes, right? Burrow is going to be there because that's his boy, right?
Yeah, I mean they shared many a snaps on the football field together.
I think if I'm Justin Jefferson, you got to drop Rodgers and put Kirk there, though. You got to do it.
I think that's the team move right there.
Yeah.
I mean, if you really want to have success, but I mean, I guess he knows he's going to get the ball anyway. So
you fucking better. Yeah.
well, that, and Cousins did say something to the effect where he's like, "I appreciate his honesty." Yeah. That's always him. He's always keeping it real. He's never going to bullshit you or anything like that and say things that he doesn't mean. And which, okay, and you asked me the question. Here's my answer, and it is what it is. But
Kirk Cousins is just good guy. He's Andy Dalton, man. They're the same fucking human being. They're the same human being. It's
Andy Dalton in a better situation.
Fair enough. Andy Dalton never had the best wide receiver in the league on his team. Never happened, right? I would say that, and a top 5 running back, right? That never existed. Because you could have argued for AJ a couple of times, but Julio was always there, and it was always 1-1, right? Julio was always wide receiver 1 in his prime because they got drafted.
Him and Matty Ice were unstoppable,
and they got drafted the same year, back to back, right? So, I would say like Ryan Tannehill, Andy Dalton, Derek Carr, Kirk Cousins. These all the only reason Derek Carr's only separated by all the eyeliner and eyeshadow that he puts on, but these are all guys that were never trusted enough to be signed again by their original team.
I can't believe the deal that Carr got in freaking New Orleans. That was crazy.
I mean, they're the best. Dude, New Orleans is going to go to the playoffs this year with a losing record. They're going to win the division with a losing record because that division is horrifyingly bad. It is so bad. It is so bad. It is so fucking bad. Speaking of Andy Dalton, he's on the Panthers now, which is hilarious. But it is they're going to beat up each other. But just like think about going if they have to. I don't even know who the NFC South has to play this season. I don't know if we can look that up. But
yeah, I'll pull it up.
They're going to get fucking run ruled by people. Like it's going to be and the Saints are the best option in that league or in that division. They're the best ones. They have the best quarterback by default. Derek Carr is the best quarterback.
Yeah, no, you're not wrong.
Bryce Young, CJ, no, Kyle Trask. Thank you. Next, the Saints obviously with Derek Carr, and then a Desmond Ridder. Not yet. Not going to happen. Big prove-it year for Desmond Ridder in Atlanta, by the way. Big prove-it year for Desmond Ridder. They're handing him the keys.
So the NFC South plays the NFC North, the AFC South, and the AFC East.
So the AFC East is going to beat the fucking brakes off of them. The NFC North is also pretty bad this year. Outside of the Lions, yeah, sure. Lions fans, I know I love you guys. I love the Lions. You're off-season champs right now. You didn't have a winning season last year. You didn't make the playoffs. I got to see it. Let's wait till like week 4 before we start, celebrating the NFC North championship. Got to get through the Vikings. They won the division last year.
Yeah.
Odds favorite to do it again. So the Bears are going to take a step this year. The Bears are going to be better this year.
I'm excited to see what Justin Fields is going to do on the field this year.
I am too. I think he could be that first Ohio State Ohio State quarterback to kind of break the mold, if you will. and kind of shed the
Of
curse.
what shit
and,
quarterbacks?
Yeah, dog shit NFL
yeah.
quarterbacks. Yeah, terrible NFL. Is he already the best Ohio State quarterback? Why do I keep saying wide receiver?
Yes.
Is he already the best Ohio State quarterback to ever play in the NFL?
Yes. No question.
Phew.
CJ Stroud, we'll see. Maybe he'll have some competition there.
We'll see.
Aaron coming in with a comment. What is the Travis Kelce over/under fantasy pick? Where O is great value and under is way too early.
Okay, so I would say
late first, early second.
I'd say 4.5. No, I'm sorry. Way too early. Like the over/under.
What's too early?
Too early is 4.
What's too late?
9.
Okay. So you mid to late first.
Mid first, I think, is where he should go. Yeah. I think like Travis, if you were the 5th overall pick and you took Travis Kelce, I'm okay with that. That makes sense.
Yeah.
It's a position where they're gone. When they're gone, they're gone.
Yeah.
Like you've got Travis Kelce, you've got Mark Andrews, obviously. 5.5 for Aaron. So he's right there. He's right there. So
George Kittle and
George Kittle. I think Evan Ingram's probably going to take a step. TJ Hawkinson's going to probably be pretty good this year. Then what? I don't
know. Pat Freiermuth.
A good option. Is he Travis Kelce or George Kittle? Mark Andrews?
Absolutely not.
Not even on the same.
He's gonna have one game where he gets 15 to 20 points, and that's gonna be once every 5 weeks.
And Njoku's good option, Aaron. He's a good option. Yeah, he's a solid 7-8 points, right? Like, he can pop off. He can pop off too.
The thing is we didn't really get to see his relationship with Deshaun last year. And how that's gonna develop
it's a tight end. It's not like he isn't Travis Kelce though. Like he's not.
I mean, I'm not making an argument for anybody being better than him.
What I mean is like that. That's not what I mean. I mean they're not the same type of player. The offense is not going to be schemed around Njoku. It's going to be schemed around Nick Chubb and Amari Cooper. Like that. That's where the scheming happens on the offense. Hopefully a little bit more Nick Chubb for Aaron's sake, because he's the best player on your team outside of Myles Garrett. So
Kelce is an unbelievable talent. Jaden, what's up, man? Thanks for coming in, liking the
Jaden.
Video. I mean, I think you guys are spot on. I say he goes anywhere from 6 to 9.
Nice.
No. Any other fantasy questions, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm enjoying that conversation, but like I would be curious, how early is too early for Mahomes?
In my brother's league, you could take him one.
A normal league. Stop bringing your voodoo league with 3 fucking quarterbacks. No one relates to that.
I would say probably, if all the good running backs are gone and Kelce's gone by the time your pick comes around, I'd probably say early second round, maybe
it's
early
too early.
Second round.
That's too early.
No, I'm saying that's
your over under. So like 12.5.
Yeah, I'm saying 12.5 is probably like my over under for him.
I'm okay with. I'm okay with. Okay, so Aaron, let's change it from Mahomes to Hurts. Whoever is let's say Hurts is the number 1 fantasy quarterback, right?
I would say they're probably on that same line.
I think if you take, I mean, at this point, when you have 12, you have 13 as well. I'm okay with Hurts at the end of the first round. I'm okay with that.
I'd probably go, if AJ Brown is still on the board, I'd probably pair him, AJ Brown, Jalen Hurts, and call it a deal.
Yeah, I mean, it depends obviously what the rest of the board looks like.
Late, but I mean, if you got Eagles fans in your draft, then AJ Brown might not.
Only problem with that is you're fucked on bye week. I like to have a little depth. I'd rather go like AJ Brown, and then if he's available, Jalen Hurts, Jalen Waddle, and then pick up like Devonta Smith in round 3. Something like that.
I like the combo though, because 16 out of the 17 weeks.
Aaron is lying. Aaron is lying in the chat right now. Aaron is lying in the chat right now.
Okay.
He says,
explain the lie.
I think QB is so valuable this year, guys. I've played fantasy football with Aaron for fucking 7 years straight. This motherfucker drafts a quarterback round 12 religiously. He's like, okay, yeah, take your Mahomes. I'm gonna get in here and take another really good wide receiver. And then
Give me Taylor Heineke.
And then and then he'll go get like Matt Stafford and just be like, yeah, he'll put up like 20 a week. It's cool. You know what I mean? It's he's lying in the chat right now. He's trying to throw us all off right now so that he has the only good fantasy team. He's playing the long game.
We ain't in a league together this year, homie. Speaking truths. Damn.
All right. We'll see.
Well, you might be if we do a Rally Towel League. So.
We gotta get it could be me, you, Todd, Aaron, Rachel. Then we'd have to just get some like super fans in. We'd have to get like Rob,
Ryan.
Ryan, definitely.
Brian
and Ryan. Just had to get all the Rally Towel homies in there. That would be fun. Maybe we just do a just for fun league. And then the loser,
no Skrilla, and then we just put something on the line or like a charity donation or something.
And then the loser, I think the losing punishment, the loser has to wear a suit to work for a week. I think is.
I can't.
You could.
No, I can't.
Bobby.
Trust me, I've got suits for days. I would love to do it. I just can't.
You wouldn't love to do it. You'd be outside and hot. It just wouldn't.
I mean, by the time the fantasy football season ends, it's winter.
Aaron comes in after the discussion of this Rally Towel Fantasy League. He says, oh, in that case, I'm totally in on defense so early. Beautiful.
Oh, my goodness.
Oh, man. So what else is happening in the world of football right now, Bobby? We talked about Hop. We talked about Saquon. I mentioned the Minnesota thing that happened last night.
We can talk about the Jets getting Hard Knocks.
Yeah, I mean, I love Hard Knocks. I think first episode is August 8th, if I'm not mistaken. I love the show. I thought it was great with the Lions. Rachel did a nice blog piece on kind of why they kicked around doing it on the Lions again this year. You head to rallytowelsports.com and check that one out. But dude, it's I'm interested in this one. I think Aaron Rodgers is an interesting person. I don't like him, but I think he's interesting. He's good TV, right?
If we're watching it, do we have to be on ayahuasca?
I was going to ask, could we see Aaron Rodgers do ayahuasca on Hard Knocks? It's HBO. It's not cable.
Yeah, I mean, you very well could. Maybe.
That'd be That'd be great TV. Well, excuse me, it's not TV. It's HBO.
It's HBO.
That would be great programming. So if we can get in touch with the people at Max and go ahead and get us some Aaron Rodgers footage on ayahuasca, that'd be pretty cool.
We'll get a deprivation tank at the least, says Aaron.
Yeah. How like over under times that Aaron Rodgers says some shit that's like, shut the fuck up, dude. Over under.
How many episodes?
It's like 6 to 8 episodes, I think.
I'm gonna say 7.5.
It's good. It's a good line. At least one an episode is kind of what you're banking on.
Mm-hmm.
Of times Aaron Rodgers just says some shit. He's like, dude, shut the fuck up. We all know what we're talking about.
Well, I mean, he's not going to be the center of attention either. So he's not. I mean, if it was going to be on him the entire time, I'd probably say 37.4.
I think he's going to be a pretty big focal point. They just signed him.
I might even move that line up to like 10.5.
They just did a blockbuster trade,
depending on how much he's on there. It's gonna be an adjusted line.
Do you think him and Brett Favre just like drink beer and rob people of welfare together, and then just like
in their Wrangler jeans?
And their Wrangler jeans, throwing footballs through tires, and just like talk about like how they're the same person. Here's a quandary. Aaron Rodgers goes with the Jets a couple of seasons, and then Kirk Cousins is out in Minnesota, and Aaron Rodgers fills the void there in Minnesota to get one back at Green Bay. Is that something that you could see playing out? If that happens,
we live in a simulation.
Confirmed. Yes. You took the words right out of my mouth. Confirmed. Simulation confirmed.
Yeah. I mean, there's been some late nights where I go down that rabbit hole on TikTok, and God, I hate it.
But, yeah, dude. TikTok said I was going to win the Powerball last night. Guess what? I don't live in California, so
facts. I didn't even buy a ticket. If I'm being honest with you, you're not going to win it here in Ohio.
Why? What's the reasoning there? Has there never been a Powerball winner in Ohio?
Not of this proportion. Aaron coming with a comment. Can you imagine Liev Schreiber gets a script that reads, Aaron Rodgers decided the offensive line should microdose mushrooms for this film session?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know how effective they'd be against like Von Miller, but just like, come here, Von. Holding, just hugging everybody. They go down and put their hands down in the grass, like.
I think the biggest thing we're all interested to see is the dynamic between him and Zach Wilson. I think that's going to be the biggest storyline in this Hard Knocks, and
I want all the Zach Wilson in this Hard Knocks, dude. I want it all. I want him out on the prowl, cougar hunting. I want it all.
He just needs to go have a little bar night with Young Gravy. They can do their thing.
Can you imagine Aaron Rodgers and Zach Wilson out on the town and they're out in Brooklyn, chopping it up,
hanging out together? I couldn't picture two totally different human beings.
I think Zach Wilson was trying to be this like, I'm in New York and I'm a New York guy now, and I'm the quarterback of the Jets, and trying to fit into this box. And then Aaron Rodgers is a guy to where, like, I think you got that from him coming out of Cal. And then he's just like, I'm going to make my own box. And now that's what he is. And he does ayahuasca in it. And then he's going to just this could be like, you know how like Anakin in the beginning of Phantom Menace, he looked the way he looks, and then afterwards at the end of Phantom Menace, he's got the little Obi-Wan rat tail. This is the transformation that Zach Wilson's gonna go under. He is so I guess Aaron Rodgers.
You think him and Aaron Rodgers head out to the hills and?
Well, I guess at the end of it all, Zach Wilson's going to kill Aaron Rodgers, I think is what's going to happen. The end of it all.
Man. That would be something. Aaron, that was hilarious. Thank you for that comment. He said the young buck stalks the cougar in her natural habitat, Brooklyn.
Yes. Yes, absolutely.
No, that's Deshaun Watson. Anyways. Had to do it.
Dude, hey, they're week one opponent. I haven't even turned it on yet. Because I don't have that kind of endurance to just talk shit for the next 2 months straight, basically.
And then have to do it for the next 4.
Yeah, and they Joe Burrow's only beaten them once, so I don't really have a lot to say. That said, they did it against Deshaun, so there's that, right?
Yeah. Well, I will say I think the AFC North is the best division of football this year, hands down.
Aaron and I were talking about that, so I think the AFC North.
Ben Roethlisberger, yeah, we get it. Old news.
That's a good one.
You just can't go into any bathrooms.
Yeah, but you clap back. It was good. So AFC North. I think Kenny Pickett takes a step this year. I think that makes sense. He hasn't even really played a full season yet, obviously. So I think like week 5 is going to be a full season for Kenny Pickett or something, if I'm not mistaken. Something along those lines. So I think that's good for the Steelers. I think they're going to take a step. I think you're pretty psyched about their offense. They gave up 37 points against the Bengals in November. So
you mean the defense?
Or defense, yeah. So cool. But no, that
was a nice subtle shot. I appreciate that.
No, you're in our group chat group text going, Steelers defense could be so
Well,
good.
they revamped the linebacker core. They added another edge rusher. Or signed,
They extended their edge rusher.
Extended Alex Highsmith, which I loved.
Sure.
Obviously got some more strength at the cornerback position, drafting Joey Porter Jr., which I think he's going to be a good addition. Is he going to be on the field week 1? Maybe. If he is, it's going to be in
you get the best safety in the AFC capacity.
North. So yeah, you got Minka Fitzpatrick, who, I mean, when they signed him, I didn't realize how young he was still.
Yeah, he's only like 26 years old.
Yeah, he's in his mid to late 20s. So he's still got a lot of time on the clock. So
not even. I think he might even be like 24, dude. Hold on, let me look. No. He's at least in his 6th year. Yeah. Never mind. Sorry.
Yeah, he's got to be.
Go on.
Yeah. Anyways, and then obviously, I think the offensive line has only gotten better, and that's just good for Najee Harris. And I think I agree with you. I think Kenny Pickett takes a step this year. You split every rookie season is split into the first 8 games and the second 8 games. It's kind of like, two different stories, right? And
sure.
In the back half of last season, in the last 8 games, he only threw 1 pick. He showed very good ball security, a lot of good decision making. He led, multiple game winning drives, 2 of the last 3 games. And I'm excited. I'm excited as a Steelers fan. I didn't think Kenny Pickett was going to do what he did towards the end of last year. And I think I've got a lot more upside in excitement this year than I thought I was going to have. So,
well, you got a lot of reason to be excited. I think in the similar sense of like Lions fans, right? Down the stretch, you saw good things, and that's got you excited going into next season. And I think that makes sense. And I don't think, the AFC North is that division to where, at least over the last couple of years, like no one's really been like, no one just gets blown out in games. Like even the Browns, when they were like losing a lot of games, or the Bengals when they were losing a lot of games, just 3 years ago, they were in every game. And especially when they played each other, they're in a lot of those games. And I just think it's an ultra competitive division that now has, 2 elite quarterbacks, 1 quarterback, 2 quarterbacks that we don't really know where they're going to land yet, but in Deshaun and Kenny. Like, I don't know where Deshaun is going to land in the tier yet, because we haven't seen enough of him, I don't think, being back. This is a full off season for Deshaun. I think, you got to put that into perspective. And then, Kenny obviously being, still technically a rookie in terms of games played. Right. I think that it's going to be an ultra competitive division. So in terms of the Steelers, Bobby, what's your floor? What's your ceiling? Like we said, the Titans earlier, like their ceiling is making the playoffs basically. So what's the worst that you could see the Steelers doing? And then what's like your ceiling of what you could see them doing this year?
It's a really good question. It's something I've been thinking about. I don't know if I have a great answer for it.
I love shitty answers, so let's go.
I think the worst is maybe getting a wild card, getting through losing in the first round of the playoffs.
The worst they can do is making the playoffs and losing.
Correct.
Wow.
I think that's their floor this year. I think they've got a lot of good young talent. Okay. I don't think I think their ceiling is maybe the next game.
Their ceiling is a divisional round loss.
Is a divisional round loss. I think their floor and their ceiling are very close. At least for me. That's kind of where I stand right now. It's all really going to depend on how well Kenny Pickett comes out and plays, and can TJ Watt stay healthy. Those are really my 2 big variables this year. Because if Kenny Pickett can get some points on the board, I have no qualms that this defense can do what it needs to do to keep the other team at least at bay, and maybe 15 to 20 points a game. If you can throw 18 to 21 points on the board each game, I think you've got a great chance to win.
I disagree in the amount of points. However, I agree that your defense is a big part of it. And there's actually just one player I think is a major part of it is TJ Watt, in that you're 7-1 last year when he plays. So keeping his ass on the field as much as possible is a huge reason for your success. So my ceiling and floor is a little bit different, because my ceiling is actually the exact same as yours. I think a ceiling for the Steelers this year is to win a wild card game. I think that's their ceiling.
Okay.
My floor for them is missing the playoffs, and most of that is not necessarily rooted in the Steelers. It's more so rooted in how tight the AFC is as a whole. It's a very, very competitive conference, and 9 games might not do it. It might not.
No, I don't think 9 games gets it done this year. I think you have to be at least 10 or better.
And that's crazy.
Yeah, at least on the AFC side of things. And
that's
in the
crazy.
NFC, you might be able to get away with 7.
Oh, there will be a 7. There will be a 7-win team in the playoffs this year out of the NFC South.
Yeah.
Book it.
Aaron asked a good question, though, at least for me. When was the last time that we were excited about the Steelers? That's a great question, man.
I've never been in my life.
Well, I guess
they actually have one of the longest playoff. They have one of the longest droughts since winning a playoff game in the NFL right now.
Yeah, they've got the longest active streak of plus 500, but their playoff record over the last decade is abysmal. I guess wow. Yeah, I mean, I can't really say. I mean, I would say the last time that I was really excited about them was 2017. You had Roethlisberger, Bell, and Brown. Like that was like the 3 Bs, man.
Yeah.
The
Killer Bees, I believe they were called.
Yeah, the Killer Bees. Ben, Bell, and Brown. I mean, that was when you had, Primo, Antonio Brown.
Sure.
And, best receiver in the league. And obviously Le'Veon Bell was amazing.
Best running back in the league.
Yeah, best running back in the league. And then he left. He's also made some news and some splashes, over the last couple of weeks talking about this whole running back deal. But
he's also
he stayed, but woulda, coulda, shoulda.
Well, he also actually did say that. Actually, he did come out and apologize to Steeler Nation and made an apology. And was like, I should have stayed at Pittsburgh with the best fans in the league, and made a big, huge play back to Pittsburgh fans who are probably just eating it all up. I'm sure that's exactly what you want to hear. How would you not? Like if hold on. Le'Veon Bell, and I'm going to let you talk because you're a Steeler fan. I want your perspective on this.
Okay.
Le'Veon Bell was batshit crazy at the end, similar to Antonio Brown.
Yeah,
they were clinically insane, both of them. That said, like for me as a fan, like if I have like an ugly breakup, like for instance, Carson Palmer is one of the 3 best quarterbacks to ever play for the Cincinnati Bengals, ever.
So are you saying like Boomer?
It's probably Boomer, Kenny. It's probably Boomer, Kenny, and Carson right now. I mean, Joe's only played 3 seasons, 2.5. Right. I can't necessarily put him there, and he's not done. So I'm saying guys that are done.
He's out of the conversation.
He's not even included. He's not in the query.
Guys that have played and they're done.
They're done. So like Andy is in that, right? Like he's in that. I think Carson's better than Andy. Duh. I think Carson's probably better than Boomer, to be honest with you, at raw ability before he got hurt. Absolutely. If Carson came back and was like, yo, like, I'm sorry the way I handled that. Like, the fans were nothing but great to me, and like I shouldn't have done that. And if he said that, we'd be like, it's okay, Carson, dude. It's all good, man. We fucking love you, man. Oh, we love. Like, that's exactly what would happen. And so I'm curious, as a Steelers fan, when you hear Le'Veon making those comments, where are you at?
I was upset. I was genuinely upset.
That he apologized.
Well, that he's doing it now, well after the fact. Just to kind of make some.
Can't go back in time, man. Can't go back in time.
Here's the thing. He had a good deal on the table. The Steelers
he had the best deal he was gonna get.
He had the best. He left for less money to go to a shittier team, and I thought that was the biggest slap in the face ever. And he apologized. I accept your apology, but that doesn't mean I have to receive you with open arms. Like I think he made a poor decision, and the Steelers lost the last good years of Roethlisberger because of it.
Okay,
and. Obviously with Antonio Brown, he was never the same after that perfect hit, but man, Like those three together on the field, it was just fun to
It's
watch.
special.
Yeah, it was.
They never won a Super Bowl together either.
They never, and that was the crazy part was they had all the talent and the ability to do it, and
You had Santonio Holmes on that team, I believe, as well. Hines Ward, was he still there?
no,
Todd Heap
Ward was gone.
was Heap there?
Not Todd Heap. You're thinking Heath Miller.
Heath Miller, that's
Todd
right.
Heap,
The other
Todd Heap
Bengal
was a
killer.
Raven.
The other Bengal killer. Sorry.
No, Heath Miller. Yeah,
Heath Miller. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean,
Pounceys. Yeah.
The Pouncey twins, and yeah, I was just kind of, I was upset and I was disappointed, man. I was like, it's just one of those things where it's like, you just wonder what could have been if he would have stayed, and because he fit so great in that system. Then he went to New York and had to be the centerpiece, and he couldn't do it. Like it was such a balanced attack with Pittsburgh. The running game was great, but they also had a great passing game.
So, Aaron brings up a good question. He says, "So, I feel like you were kind of trying to pull me in, not pull me into it, but like trying to maybe." And I feel like you're a very player-centric person. So, seeing how running backs are treated now, do you have more empathy for Le'Veon? Because like maybe that was a precursor to what we're seeing now, in that like I would say that the Steelers are a smart organization.
At the time, the contract they offered him, he was going to be a top 3 paid running back in the league.
Sure.
And so I don't have any empathy for him because he was getting the money that Saquon wants.
Well, he was getting the best money that he could have gotten.
He was getting the best money that he could have gotten anywhere.
Yeah.
So I have zero empathy for him and the decision he made. He made the wrong decision. He understands that he made the wrong decision, and that's why I accept his apology. But I still don't have to, like it. I understand. Like you can make mistakes and have that retrospect, but you have to understand that there are repercussions to your decisions. And I will accept your apology, but that doesn't mean I have to embrace you with open arms. That's just kind of where I stand on it. But I don't have. I have empathy for Saquon Barkley, and the only reason is he's should be paid much more than what he's being paid on that team. I think payment for running back should be based on your value to the team, and Saquon is that fucking offense. Daniel Jones is not that offense. That offense revolves around him, and he should be getting paid more. They should let him leave. You can't. I think it's disrespectful to franchise tag him for the 3rd year in a row.
Is that
or the 2nd year in a row?
Is that his second in a row? I thought it was his end of his rookie deal. Oh wow.
No, he's been tagged 2 years in a row.
Well,
he played last year on the franchise tag. He's a team player. Went out and had a great season, and then got tagged again.
Yeah. So it's tough when you're in a rebuild like they are.
So for me, that's kind of why I asked you earlier. Is like, is it? Do you have like a firm stance, or is it case by case? Like for me, it's a case by case situation. When it comes to these running backs and what I feel they're due. I think Saquon's one of those special guys that he deserves to be paid. At least for like maybe a 3 or I'm not saying like a 6-7 year deal. I'm saying like a maybe a 3-year deal where he gets 15 to 20 million a year.
Let me ask you this: is Saquon's production the same on the Bengals?
Honestly, it could probably. It's a good question because the Bengals have a great passing game, but I think that Saquon is obviously leaps and bounds
special. He's very special. I think
it opens up a hell of a lot more for the Bengals. They don't have to rely on the passing game as much.
Christian McCaffrey does the same thing too, right? Like these
Did you see his
special
production
players
clip in San Francisco? No. So I don't think it does if he goes to the Bengals.
Those special players. My point is, I do think that, and again, Saquon is special. He's the second best running back in the league, in my opinion. I think Saquon is a bit of a product of his environment in that he, for a long time, was their offense. That he was their best receiver. He obviously their best running back. I'm not saying that he can't add value to a team and a lot of value. What I mean is that in a healthy roster, which the Giants are not a healthy roster, they are overpaying on a quarterback and they don't have a good wide receiving core. I think in a healthy roster, Saquon doesn't get paid like a big contract. I don't think that happens. I think he's looking at like a $15 million a year contract.
Yeah, which would still move him up the ranks.
Yeah, and it's not to say that franchise tag is going to pay him more than that, though.
I think he's a franchise tag pays him more than $15 million a year.
A second one in a row, I believe it does. I could be wrong.
Let's take a look here. I'm curious.
You could be wrong. Well, while you're looking that up, we did, and Aaron came in with a AFC North 1 through 4 finish. Let's hear it. And we're going to get to that. But I wanted to discuss ceiling and floor for the Bengals as well. So what do we got on this?
The second tag automatically increases their salary by 20% of their previous salary.
So whatever it was.
If they tag him for a third year in a row, then his salary jumps 44% on top of that 20.
So what was it last year?
So let's look up.
Spot track.
Saquon Barkley.
And he hasn't signed it yet. He hasn't signed the
$10 million. So 20% on top of that. So then he's making 12.5.
12.5. Okay.
12
okay.
or just 12.
Yeah, 12.
So, yeah, he's underpaid.
According to the market.
He's underpaid by about $4 million.
You think somebody signs him if they cut him to a $15 million deal? You think that happens?
Yeah, absolutely.
Dalvin Cook hasn't got signed.
Saquon Barkley would get signed. He's still young enough.
Fair enough. Less injuries as well. Still big injury, but less.
Big injury, but have you seen his quads?
No, yeah, they're ridiculous.
All right, yeah, let's tackle the Bengals.
We'll
get into the AFC ranking.
What do you think? Bengals ceiling, Bengals floor,
ceiling, Super Bowl
champ win.
Super Bowl win. That's their ceiling.
What's the floor?
Floor. Divisional round loss.
Okay.
That's a floor. I would almost say AFC Championship.
I'm not ready to say that because the AFC is so competitive.
It would be their third in a row to get there.
That'd be crazy.
Incredibly tough.
That's a lot.
I think the floor is a divisional round. I think that's a safe bet. I think they at least make it there.
I'm with you on a Super Bowl championship being the ceiling. I think that's pretty obvious. I think my floor for the Bengals is a first round loss. A first round playoff loss. So they lose their first playoff game. That's not to say wild card. It's not to say wild card because that's
just the first round of the playoffs.
They could get a bye. They could, hypothetically speaking, they could get a bye. I'm saying the floor for them. I think they're getting to the playoffs this year. I think the floor for them is to lose that first game. I think that's the worst that they do. Here's a question for you, Bobby, and we'll get into this. Do the Bengals three-peat as AFC North champions this year?
Man, it's going to be such a tight race for that spot.
Dogfight, not knocking, not a nod to the Browns, not a nod to the Browns, but it's going to be a fight.
I don't think there's a world where you could invalidate any argument for any team in the AFC North this year, maybe except for the Ravens.
I think you could invalidate the Browns and the Steelers the most.
I was actually going to say the Ravens and the Browns. I think the Steelers have a better shot than the Browns.
Let me rebut that. Out of not the Bengals, out of the other three teams, who made the playoffs last year?
Fair enough.
And Lamar's back.
Fair enough.
OBJ does nothing for me. OBJ, let me be very clear. Oh, yeah, they got Odell Beckham Jr. Cool. He's 2 on their depth chart right now.
I will say Lamar has definitely got a lot to play for this year.
Yeah.
He's got a ton to play for. Dude got fucking paid.
Absolutely paid. And good for him for doing it. I am very happy. I'm very happy that he got paid, by the way. I don't know about you.
And they got a new offensive coordinator coming into town, so who knows? Who knows?
So this is Lamar's third offense in 5 years?
Yeah.
But I am over the moon. I am over the moon that they paid Lamar. Thank you for linchpinning yourself to A guy that has regressed over the last 3 years. Thank you for handcuffing yourself to that, Baltimore Ravens.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Okay. So, anyways, we talked Bengals floor and ceiling. Let's talk about the AFC North and the ranking at 1 through 4. You asked me if the Bengals can repeat as champions.
Are they going to
Yes, they
three-peat?
Can they? I think they have the best shot.
Well, yeah. Are they? Who's going to win the AFC North this year, Bobby? You're gambling. You get all 4 right. You win $1 million. Who wins? There's no odds. There's no juice. You just have to get all 4 of them right.
Like all 4 in a row?
You have to get every spot correct.
Stack rank.
Yeah.
God, this is something I wouldn't bet on.
Yeah.
Number one, but obviously,
but welcome to Rally Towel Sports,
where we make bets on shit we shouldn't bet on. All right, I'm taking the Bengals to win the division.
I think they're the odds favorite. That makes sense. This is where the fun begins.
And then 2, 3, 4 is the absolute biggest crapshoot of your life.
Aaron says, "Don't bet on it, but now put $1 on it just in case."
Just in case.
Most Aaron comment in the world. I tried to say it as he would in there.
So my second is going to be the Steelers pending TJ Watt stays healthy for 17 games.
I think spicy, Bob.
I think that defense is going to be nasty. I think it's going to be better than a lot of you think it's going to be.
I didn't say it wasn't going to be good. I was just talking shit to you because literally there have been 0 snaps. And the one thing you don't want to be, ask Aaron, is an off-season champ. You don't want to be that.
I'm not. But ask me when's the last time I was excited. I'm excited.
And he should be. Good for you. It's your team. You should be excited.
Usually when I get excited, they typically do well. So I don't get excited very often. You've
never really been downtrodden. You've never been downtrodden. Oh, well, when I get excited, they do well. You have no impact, Bobby. None.
Damn.
So Steelers are second, and then
just light me the fuck up.
I just,
no one brags about hand jobs.
You have never, you've just never been through the pain in football like I have.
I will agree with you on that. A bad year for us is a game above 500, and that's
or 500. 500 is
or
bad
500.
Year. 500, because you've gone 500.
We have
in Tomlin's
when there wasn't 17 games, but yeah,
in Tomlin's career, you've gone 500.
Yeah, 500 is a bad season. Obviously the times I was young, when they were less than 500, and that was obviously well before Tomlin's reign. But so I'm barring TJ Watt stays healthy. I think he's the most integral part. I have the Steelers too. Mm-hmm. I'm taking the Browns 3 and the Ravens 4.
Wow, the Ravens 4.
Bengals, Steelers, Browns, Ravens. That's my rank.
Wow.
I think we see a much different Deshaun Watson this year. He's going to have a full off season. He's going to have a full training camp.
No, I don't have a problem with the Browns.
Honestly, it could go Bengals, Browns, Steelers, Ravens. I think the Ravens are.
Wow. You know what? I can't. I think. Well, they have the second best quarterback in the AFC North, and that matters to me. And I think that they have the second best head coach.
Okay, so Lamar,
maybe even the best head coach. They might even have the best head coach.
Lamar's regressed, but he's still better than Deshaun.
Yeah. If I had to pick one quarterback to play a season with right now, I'm taking Lamar over Deshaun Watson.
Okay.
Aren't you?
I don't know.
Come on, Bob. What has Deshaun Watson really done?
I mean,
he's good. I don't know. Hold on. I want to be clear. Deshaun Watson's good. I know he's good. I'm not stupid. I've watched football.
Look at the talent that Lamar had around him in his MVP year. Granted, he did a lot of that on his own, but he had much better weapons over the course of his career than Deshaun has ever had.
What?
The only thing that he had in Texans, down in Houston, was DeAndre Hopkins.
Yeah, that's it. Who has Lamar had that has ever been remotely close to DeAndre Hopkins?
So I'm not saying that he's had somebody that's of his caliber, but I'm saying he's had a lot of guys that were better than the surrounding talent outside of DeAndre Hopkins. He's had Mark Andrews. He's had good running backs. He's had a lot of things that enhance his play style because Deshaun never had a running game. The Ravens run the ball pretty well.
Who is their running back combination? Did they have Frank Gore at one point? Am I correct in that assumption, or am I
Houston
who did Houston? Oh no, they had Arian Foster.
Yeah,
didn't they have Arian?
Foster couldn't stay healthy.
Didn't they have Arian?
Let me look up.
Houston was a pretty good team at one point. Deshaun has won more playoff games than Lamar. I think it's one more playoff game, if I'm not mistaken. Reverse the question, says Aaron. What receivers want to stay in Baltimore? I don't know that they've ever really brought any top tier receivers. The only one is Hollywood Brown, and I don't even think he's top 10. I don't even think he's a top 10 receiver. I mean, OBJ just made the choice to go to Baltimore. He's not top 10 either. All I'm saying is that I don't think there are many NFL execs. I don't think there are many people that think Deshaun Watson is better than Lamar Jackson. And that's not to say that it's a huge gap. And could Deshaun prove to me this season that he is better than Lamar, or could he have a better season than Lamar? Sure, he could.
How many teams were going after Lamar Jackson as free agency versus how many teams pursued Watson?
Oh, I'm sorry. No one was pursuing Lamar.
So 2017, his first year in Houston, his running back was Lamar Miller.
And then?
His wide receiver core was Will Fuller, DeAndre Hopkins. His tight end was Ryan Griffin.
Will Fuller was really good. He was doing steroids. He was really good.
he started 10
games. They also had J.J. Watt. They also had the best player in the league on their team.
J.J. Watt doesn't play offense.
No, he doesn't. But he's really good at defense. And you just talked about how important that is.
No, I completely agree. I'm talking from a merely offensive perspective.
Look.
J.J. Watt is not a weapon for
No.
Deshaun Watson.
No, he's not. He's not. But getting the other offense on the field is important.
Correct.
It's important. It's important for an offensive rhythm as well. But look, I don't think there's many people that are going to try and tell you that Deshaun Watson is better than Lamar Jackson. I don't think that there are many people that are going to do that. I think I do. I get the argument. But I
will make a bet with you this year that Deshaun Watson has a better year than Lamar.
I'm not making that bet. I just said that could Deshaun Watson absolutely have a better year than Lamar? Absolutely. That could totally happen.
Ted, what up, baby? Thanks for liking the video.
That could absolutely happen. And could Deshaun in 2 years, could we be like, oh yeah, Deshaun is definitely better than Lamar? That could absolutely happen as well. Right now, based on recency, the last 5 years of what I've seen, I would rather have Lamar. I would.
Well, yeah, anybody would rather have Lamar.
That's what what we were talking about, Bob. That's what we're talking about.
What I'm saying is anybody would rather have Lamar because of what happened off the field with Deshaun. That's the only thing I'm saying. That's the only reason I would take Lamar over Deshaun is because of the off-field issues. If that didn't happen, I'm taking Deshaun.
Really?
Absolutely, 100%.
Yeah, I struggle with that. I mean, which guy? One of those guys won an MVP. He's gotten worse every year since. He's had injury problems every year since. I get that. But if I have to hitch my wagon to one of those guys, yeah, I think I have to go with Lamar. I have to. So all right, Bengals, first place. Second place, man. This is tough. This is because I think the next three teams, I think they're all pretty close to me.
Okay.
I think Steelers, Browns, and Ravens are all pretty close to me. So let's kind of break it down. Head coaching battle. I think Tomlin and Harbaugh interchangeable. I think Lamar a little bit better than Deshaun. Stefanski's the third out of all three of those. And again, I'm not using the. I'm just trying to split these hairs here. Running game. It's the Browns. Clearly, the Browns have the better running game.
No argument.
Wide receiver core. I think the Steelers have the edge there.
I don't know, man. I would disagree. I'd say the Bengals have the best wide receiver.
No. I'm only looking at Ravens, Steelers, Browns. Those are the only three I'm looking at right now because I think it makes sense. Again, if this is from a betting perspective, if I'm trying to predict the order of the AFC North this year, putting the Bengals at first makes the most sense, right?
Agreed.
It's the other three that I'm trying to work through. So like I'm looking at head coach, quarterback. I'm looking at all the key points. Head coach, I think Tomlin and Harbaugh are close to each other. I think they're about the same.
I hate Harbaugh, but he's a great coach.
Absolutely. Running back, Browns had the edge. Wide receivers, Steelers had the edge. Quarterback, I think the Ravens had the edge at quarterback. Pass rush, I think TJ Watt is better than Myles Garrett, but I think the Browns are just as effective at getting to the quarterback as the Steelers are, if that makes sense. Interior of the defensive line, I think the Ravens are probably better. Man, there's just you get my quandary. So
I know I was there.
Based on the parity in the NFL and the way that it's set up, I'm going to take the Browns at second.
Yeah. I know you want to. Go ahead.
I'm going to go Ravens Steelers.
I just don't see it.
That's fine. That's fine. I
respect it though. I mean, look, man, it could very well pan out that way.
Listen, here's another thing that could very well happen. If you play roulette, you're playing roulette. You see black, or red. Eventually,
it's gonna hit the other color.
It's going to hit the other side, right? And the Steelers have not had a losing season in a long time. So we're going to fade the streak.
Fade the streak.
And just maybe it happens due to an ultra competitive AFC. And I struggled with that. And so I hope you don't think that I think that the Steelers are clearly the worst team in this division, because I do think that this is an ultra competitive division and a lot can happen between now and January.
I think this is one of the divisions where you could potentially see three teams from the AFC North in the playoffs.
Don't disagree.
Potentially. So obviously there has to be a lot of other things happen, but we all know this is the NFL and things happen.
Aaron may bring up a great point. Corey, if you want to fade the streak, in theory, you should take the Browns to win the AFC North. Why is that, Bobby? Because the Browns have never won the AFC North. So every time a Browns fan was to tell you Joe Burrow's record against the Browns, you can just let them know that Joe Burrow has more AFC North championships than do the Cleveland Browns. You can just let them know that. Week 1, baby. Week 1.
Yeah.
Week 1. First Energy Stadium. Let's go.
I might drive up and watch the game with Todd, and then we'll see.
Oh, baby. Aaron come with a comment. So they're due. Love it. It's going to be a hell of a season, man.
So you're telling me there's a chance.
You're saying there's a chance. Of course there's a chance. The NFL, man, it's built for it. And it's beautiful, and we love it.
I just hope that this division doesn't beat the shit out of each other too much.
Oh, Bobby, you must be new here.
I know. I know it's gonna happen. It's gonna be a rough year.
It's going to be.
All the teams are really talented. Anybody can take the division this year. I don't think the Steelers win the division. I think they're probably the biggest long shot to win it, but I think the Ravens and the Browns and the Bengals have the best shot to take it.
It'll be fun.
So it's definitely going to be, if I want to do champions, I only get to do with Cincy. What do you mean, Aaron? Trying to decipher that comment.
Want to do champions? I only get to do with Cincy.
Are you mean like picking Super Bowl, like contenders, like who's going to be playing in it, or like what? I think it's a little too early for that.
I have to Tinky Winky. Go Cavs. Oh, want to do championships? I only get to do it with Cincy. Go Cavs. This is what you see. Like the Cavs have won. Yeah, we could do city championships. You want to compare all the Cincinnati Reds World Series as well?
Yeah, I think they've got Cleveland there by a little bit. So. All right, chat. Corey, do you have anything else, sir?
No, I have to piss.
Okay. Chat. We're going to wrap it up on that beautiful, beautiful note from Corey. We appreciate everybody swinging through. Aaron, thanks for coming in and keeping the chat lit, man. Appreciate you, dude. Everybody else, Brian, Pops, Jalen, or Jaden, everybody who popped in. Thank you guys. Appreciate it.
Love you guys.
Love you. We will see you next week. We're going to be kind of getting back on our regular schedule. So we'll catch you then. Peace out.
Peace.